Hey, what's happening, people? We're at home. Me, Nate, Kurt, Jesse, Shannon Gross, hanging with the boys. I am live from, I just moved into a new apartment up here in Frisco, so I am in one of the bedrooms with no furniture and just hanging out. And I can't see Jesse or Nate or Kurt. I don't know which box they're in. They can't see me, but we can all hear each other. So this is our first run at it. We watched Talking Cowboys this morning, and it looked really good when they did it. So I know we're a lot better looking crew than they are, so this should be the best looking show that we try to pull this off on. So how you doing today, fellas? Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you, Shannon. Yeah, I'm in my fun room, bro.
All right, where
it's
you at,
Nate.
Nate?
I'm in my fun room, baby. I'm always let Jesse and Kurt respond first, and then I'll respond after Jesse. Always.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, then we'll start with Kurt. Kurt, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I have to send out a warning, though. I'm quarantined in my house with a wife, 4 kids, and 2 dogs. If I don't get interrupted, it'll be a miracle.
Good. It'll be some comic relief. Jesse, how you doing, man? Where are you broadcasting from?
What's up, my fellas? I'm broadcasting from my semi setup in my office. I got that little thing in the background. I try to be like I was in one of the big networks.
Got your little bookshelf there or something?
Yeah, it's not a bookshelf.
Yeah,
it's almost something like that, you know.
Okay. And Nate, the front.
Yeah, and then I'm in my game room, just having a little fun, sitting back, big TV, workout stuff, little few balls and stuff. But I'm having fun, man. I really miss you guys, man. I did a show with a cast of characters last week, man, and I lobbed it to Derek Eagleton and Shannon Gross in a heavyweight to get me back get me back home. I felt like I was lost. Yes, sir.
All right. So this is going to be a little awkward at first till we get the hang of it, because whenever you interrupt someone, it kind of cuts off and makes some weird noises. So we'll try to fight through it. But a lot been going on this week. Travis Frederick retiring, signing Gerald McCoy, Dontari Poe. Nate finally got his big, fat, greasy guy he's been wanting. So I want to start with you, Nate. This is the guy that we have been hearing you cry about, just begging, pleading for the last probably 3 years now to get this greasy guy in the middle. Is this the guy you want, and are you excited about this signing?
I'm excited about that signing, Shannon and Jesse, and I can't think of a man's name, but you count too.
Forgot me already.
Yeah, you count too. But I promise you, I'm excited because I know, yes, he's a little long in the tooth, but we need guys that can take up blocks, consistently, whether it's versus the run or versus the pass. This guy can take up blocks. He's a veteran guy. He know how to make plays. He's smart. He'll understand the defense, and he'll give you a full day's work. That's what I've been looking for, a guy that can come in and give us 40 or 50 snaps and give us a full day's work, and that will require 2 or more blockers at all times. That'll give our linebackers a chance to run free and give our outside defensive ends a chance to really rush the pass and not so much worry about the run.
So you're talking about McCoy?
I'm talking about Dontari Poe. He will free up everybody, and even McCoy will function better with this guy. He's 32 years old. Played a couple of years with Carolina his last few years. A guy to Oklahoma. He's nice. He's a little long in the tooth, but what they're replacing Malik Collins, and we haven't got anything with Tristan Hill, so we don't know what he was going to do. But these guys will be more consistent. May not make as many plays when they were in their prime, but they will be able to make plays and make things happen for these linebackers and outside pass rushers. Once we get another one on the right side.
Jesse, what are your thoughts about the 2 new guys?
No, I love what Nate is saying, because we saw last year what happened when guys like Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith had to deal with 300-pound dudes. They struggle. They struggle. Those aren't your linebackers that you want to get held up with those 300-pound dudes. Those are the guys that you want running freely. Well, how do you get them running freely? How do you get them running sideline to sideline and downhill, diagnosing plays? With Sean Lee coming back for another year, he's going to know what is happening. Where he's going to know where to go. We just hope that his body can hold up. But that happens when he's not having to deal with big 300-pound dudes grabbing on him and holding on him. Having those two, and Nate like to say, big greasy fellas up front, it allows those guys free access. And if they can just be athletes, if Jalen Smith can just be an athlete, if Leighton Vander Esch, God bless, hope his next heals and is ready to go, and Sean Lee, if they can just be athletes and roam and make tackles, now that's going to be something that's going to be amazing.
Were you surprised that they went for these veterans instead of re-signing Collins? Because Collins' deal was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think moving. Sometimes you got to just move on. I know other guys. Dontarius Poe and McCoy. Those guys who come with a little bit of skins on the wall, some Pro Bowls appearances. Some they were really big players in this league for a long time. And so I think having that new blood come in, moving out with some of the old, and I think what we've got is better than what we let go in Dontarius Poe and McCoy.
And I agree with you, Jesse. What's sad is you expected more from Malik Collins. He's been here 4 or 5 years. He's spent a lot of time on the injured reserve, and you can't shine like that. Okay, he went up with the old defensive coordinator up to the Raiders. That's fine, but we need guys that are gonna be consistent, and you know what you're gonna get week in and week out with Gerald McCoy and Dontario Poe. Malik Collins, we didn't know whether it's going to be healthy. He would flash 1 or 2 games, and all of a sudden he would disappear. And that was the inconsistency of our whole defensive line. Is people would flash and then they would disappear. We need for guys up front to be very, very consistent so the rest of this defense can find a home.
So as of right now, how does the defensive line look? How do these guys fit in? What's your front line right now?
Well, right now it's Dontario Poe, Gerald McCoy, and then you got D Law, but we don't know who is coming from the other side. I'm not putting any stock into Randy Gregory. Love the kid to death. I hope he spend half the season, getting his body and mind back right. But we got to go out and find somebody. Maybe somebody in the draft that we can get in the first, second, or third round. Maybe it's another guy out there.
Isn't this where Tyrone Crawford comes back into play? I think he's been playing out of position a lot of times, trying to play inside. I don't think he was ever big enough to play that interior defensive line. I think now when you have those big guys in there, he can have more time as a rush in on that right-hand side where Quinn played last year. And then if we're rotating, you have a rotation going on, then maybe move him inside every now and again. But kind of move him back outside. He can finally start earning some of that money that he's been paid all these years. Move him back outside and let him be a rush-in instead of being interior rusher where they've had it the last couple of years.
I hear what you're saying, Jesse, but I think if he would have had 1 hip surgery, I think he had 2 hip surgeries. I'm correct, Shannon?
Yeah, it was both hips. Yeah.
Yeah. That trust me when I say you can put as much titanium steel you want. When you got 300-pounders banging on you, whether it's a tackle or a guard, I will believe in that, Jesse. When I see it, I agree. This guy, he plays well. His motor never stops running. He's very, very good versus the run, especially at defensive end. I agree with you. I hope that he can come back healthy. But they're going to have to they're going to have to target somebody in this draft, or they have to go out and get another free agent, to come in and try to fill that role because you don't know how his body's going to hold up.
All right, let's move on a little bit. Normally we would probably go to a break right about now, but there's no breaks in this show because we haven't been together in so long. We thought we would give you 1 solid hour of these 4 faces. I don't know what direction everybody's in, but we're here. And thank you, Wingstop.
So what you saying
on the airwaves?
So what you saying, Shannon, is somebody maybe facing another way, giving you another view of something? What are you saying?
Well, like right now, I'm looking this way, and I might be looking off the screen, or I might be looking at Kurt.
Don't do that. Look into the screen, Shannon.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'll look into the screen. You know what we need to do on the next show? We should, since we're all at shelter in place. If you're in Dallas or some of the surrounding counties, we should get Wingstop to deliver to our home for the next show next week, and we can
look at you
together on air. What do you think about that?
Always trying to work free food, aren't you?
What's her name? Megan,
yes.
right? Megan, that's her name?
Yes.
The lady that came?
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
holla at me. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen, man. Because
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
will we be back to our regular time, guys? Next week at 11 o'clock on Monday.
We should be, yes.
Yeah.
Since this technology's working out, we should be every Monday at 11. So
Cool. I
However
like that. I
long
like the
we
sound of that.
however long we are stuck in shelter and in place. So, speaking of, all right, we talked a little football. We'll get into a little bit more football because I want to get your thoughts on. I know Jesse, you and Nate think it's a terrible idea letting Byron Jones go. A couple of guys came here for a year and got paid. Randall Cobb, Robert Quinn, get y'all's thoughts on that. But what have you been doing to pass the time since we've kind of been stuck at home and not been able to get out of work and stuff? Kurt, what are you going absolutely nuts in your house with all those people and pets?
Actually, it's been really busy. It's been one of the busiest Marches we've had just because we're working on a special book, and we've also got a draft magazine we're working on. So I've actually been pretty busy, which is good.
Have you gotten more work done at home? Probably because people aren't coming in and out of your office and calling you and emailing you?
Well, there's still people coming in and out. It's just a little different. So,
family.
but yeah, it's thankfully I've been pretty hectic, pretty busy. So I haven't had to sit around and worry about what's going on, I guess.
That's good. What about you, Jesse? I know schools are shut down right now. What have you been doing to pass the time?
So one of the things that I've had to do, being that I'm the director of athletics, is I've had to get things in place for the PE. So make sure all my PE teachers and / coaches.
That's physical education for you guys that don't know what PE mean.
Right. Get them set up for some online stuff. I've actually this guy on Twitter reached out to me. He's a military dude, and he challenged me for in a push-up battle challenge, whatever. And he said, who can do the most push-ups in a week? And a loser has to make a charitable donation to that person's charity of choice in their name. So that started yesterday. He's up 600 push-ups on me. He did 1,100 yesterday. I did 500. So at the end of this thing, somebody's gonna be real swole, and somebody's charity is gonna be able to get a donation in their name. So,
wow.
But no, I've been running. I've been trying to get myself back in somewhat of shape, doing push-ups, working out in the garage and stuff like that. But I'm just pacing like a lion in a cage.
Yeah.
You say you did 500 push-ups
Yesterday, yeah.
Oof.
He did 11. He did
Do
11
Herschel style push-ups, and you can do a lot.
Oh, man.
Chinese push-ups, half.
You can do, Kurt?
Me? Oh.
Yeah, in a day.
In a day? Well,
Yeah. 5?
yeah, I hope I can do more than that, but I don't think I can do 500. I'm a
What
long
you been
way
up to,
from that.
Nate? What you been doing?
Oh,
You been
man.
at home? You been getting out? What you been riding the road?
No. What I've been doing almost every other day is I've been getting up around about 8, 9 o'clock, doing my prayers and stuff like that. Then I get in my car and go to a filling station where ain't no people around, fill my car up. Like I drove down to Louisiana, Manny, Louisiana, and turned around. I drove halfway to Tennessee, turned around. Tomorrow I'm going to drive halfway somewhere else and turn around. As long as ain't no people around, I'm good. I just be riding. I get in my car and ride 2-3 hours a day. Then I come back home, hang out with the wife. We have debates about things and having fun.
Don't even have a destination. You just drive and then decide, okay, that's far enough. I'm going back.
Yeah, stop at some local place, because everybody drive through. So I just get in somebody's line, it's, shorter the line about it. I just turn around, man. I listen to gospel, listen to R&B, listen to audio books, man. It's just, I'm loving it, man. I want this virus to go away, but I hope everybody stay at home like they are now, because you can just put your car on 75 and let it ride.
All right, let's talk
What about you? What about you, Shannon? What have you been doing?
Man,
Been moving?
I moved yesterday. Well, I forgot what day it was already this week. I thought today was Monday. We moved Sunday, so we moved into a new place up in Frisco and spent all
that
day
bachelor pad has
Sunday.
now been dethroned. You've been dethroned. Your bachelor pad no longer exists anymore, huh?
Oh yeah, it's broken up. It's dismantled. Yes, the remnants there's some remnants around the new apartment, but for the the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things, it's a done deal. So
I heard that. I heard the we moved in, huh?
Yeah, you heard that, right,
yeah,
Kurt?
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a couple of fish tanks with some fish. So we are in the new apartment. No, I moved in with my my lovely girlfriend Megan, and we are.
Now wait, hold on. Did
starting
you move into
our
her
life
place,
together in
Chief,
Frisco.
or did you guys move into a new place together, or you moved into her place?
No, we both moved into a new place. So she was in
Okay, all right.
she was in a spot down in Uptown, and I was too. And then we moved into a bigger place up here, 3-bedroom up here in Frisco. Actually, right down the street from the Star, about 4 minutes from the Star. So I'm gonna save about $120 a month in tolls and about
No
an
doubt.
hour and a half to 2 hours a day I get back in my life that I'm not sitting in traffic. So
You can ride the bike
I'm
to
pretty
work
fired
every day.
up. I actually could, yeah.
But you know what? For what you gained, if you gained in time, you'll pay for that. You'll pay for that apartment.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh,
But I'm happy
all
for
right,
you,
let's-
Shannon.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm happy. I'm excited. It's different. It's going to be different living in the suburbs, living up in the burb life, but it's a good kind of different. This is actually where it's kind of funny. About 5 blocks down the street is where I first moved 16 years ago when I came here and took the job in the Cowboys Pro Shop when we had one in Stonebriar Mall. That's what I moved here to take a job doing, to be the store manager there. And there was nothing out here. I moved in with a buddy of mine that was actually my boss at the time, and he lived in a subdivision off Lebanon. And there was nothing out here. There was like a Bank of America,
That's
there was
right.
a Hooters, a church, and a La Hacienda Ranch, and a mall, and that was it. And now it's 16 years later, man. There's apartments everywhere, and there's restaurants and bars, and it's cool to see how it's built up. So I'm
You know,
excited.
Shannon with a girlfriend.
That's right. Life comes full circle, man. So here I am. So enough about me. Let's talk about Travis Frederick. What? I wasn't really surprised. I guess it was kind of a, I don't know any of the details. I don't know what you guys have heard because I hadn't been in the office and hadn't really heard a lot. But I would imagine, was it health related? I would think it would be. Not that anything's wrong with him, but just longevity of his career and things like that. What have you guys heard anything about the reasoning, or is it just that time for him to leave the game, or what?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, go ahead, Jesse.
I know from what I've gathered from the statement that he put out, and just from, just as a former player, I think a lot of it for him, and you guys all know this, there's a level of pride that some players have more than others. And I think for Travis, he's the kind of guy who wants to be able to make sure he's carrying his own load, and he wants to make sure that he's able to be the very best that he can, not just for himself, but for the brothers to his right and to his left, and for the guy that he lines up with every single day. And he also wants to be like, they're paying me a decent amount of money. I should be able to be at a certain place. And I think he came to a point where he just realized, I can't. I can't do enough. And I have more pride in to keep going out there, stealing checks and doing things at this job that I just really can't completely do. So I think for him, it was just one of those, man in the mirror type situations where let me look myself in the mirror and let's be honest. And you don't see that a lot. You don't see that a lot from a lot of guys. So I think a lot of it had to do with it was a pride thing for him, knowing that he couldn't give out all that he knew that he wanted to give out for his paycheck, for his team, for the Star, for his brothers. And when you can't, some people have enough character and integrity in them to say, you know what, if I'm not going to be the very best that I can be, then I need to walk away and let somebody else do this.
I think that was probably the main reason too. But also, he in his statement, he said last season was difficult. So, we don't know for sure what all he was going through health wise, and he had such a serious, disease he was battling through that. I don't know. Maybe it truly was from a health standpoint that it just got tougher and tougher for him to get ready for the game.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. I'm glad he made the decision, and maybe as time go on and one of us get a chance to catch him in the hall, because I think he'll always be a part of the Cowboy family. So we'll catch him in the hall and say, man, what really happened to get you out of there? to the point where you feel like it was time to retire. So I'm kind of with Jesse, and I'm kind of with you, Kurt, that, hey, you know, life goes on, and he's a smart guy, graduated, I think, some type of engineer, so he's a smart guy. Money's lined up probably right. He's, you know, it got me because I just saw a deal where he was out feeding kids and doing great things during this time of need in America. So, I mean, this guy has a life, and a lot of guys, like Jesse says, you know, football is their life, but a lot of guys have things outside of football that can be fulfilling and makes that decision easier for a guy of his nature and his standards. So, I mean, kudos to you guys. I think y'all are all over it, man.
Yeah, and he's one of the, you know, you hear about the character of guys and good guys and the right kind of guys. Travis from day one came in, and you know, he's always been one of the guys that'll talk to you. He's a super smart guy, has great conversation, would talk to you if you pulled him to the side in the locker room, would have a conversation with you and wouldn't BS you, would tell you straight how it is. Always willing to do things. Great guy in the community. You know, he has his tackle hunger cause that he, you know, my cause, my cleats every year. That's always his cause. He's one of the people that when PR needs something in the community, like, he's one of the first guys that they go to, and he always says yes. So he's not only on the field, he was a beast. Off the field, he's really going to be missed too, because he was, you know, just so involved in the community and such a good role model. And he's one of those guys in that locker room on that offensive line where he was the glue. He was the guy they all looked to, and whatever Travis kind of said is kind of what the offensive line did. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up and fills that role and is kind of the leader of those guys. And I was going to ask you that.
Well, I think that the biggest thing
what does
that
the
we can
center
probably
position
do
look like now? Is it Joe Looney's job?
have those writing assignments,
do they try
because it's going
some
to be
other
tough for
guys
us
in
to
there?
come
Do they try
together.
to go
The young guy, the young McGovern. Young McGovern in the third round pick, he'll get a more serious look there, because I think with a new coach, and Jesse, I want you to jump on this at the end, with a new coach, you don't know what he's thinking. I'm quite sure that's a blow to them, but I think they're ready to make that move. They don't know these guys the way that we do, or the last coaching staff. So a lot of guys that get opportunities who didn't think they would if they're ready when their turn comes. They're gonna have to put somebody in there. They may start with Looney, but if this kid McGovern does what he need to do, you know, and show that he's ample, he may fit in. And like I was trying to tell some guys the other day, yesterday when this happened, is you don't know really what schemes these coaches gonna run, because a couple of years ago our guards, centers, and tackles was running all over the place 3 years ago. Screens, traps, pull, that went away this past year. A lot of that went away, you know, the way we ran the offense. So we don't know what these coaches got in store and what players will really fit as far as offensive linemen into the scheme of what Coach McCarthy and the offensive coordinator wants to do.
Yeah. I mean, like, you think, you know, with the brotherhood, you think, man, come on. You know, brotherhood, let me know that you're gonna walk away, so I can go in there and have a little bit more say so in this contract for at least a long-term deal. So yeah, I mean, if I'm Joe Looney, and I'm speculating, I don't know, but if I'm Joe Looney, I'm a little bit hot at Travis. Not that he retired, do what you got to do, my brother. But hey, just pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about walking away. So if you're gonna go ahead and get a new deal, go ahead and get a new deal. So that's just my thought process.
Left some dollars on the table, huh?
Yeah, you know, I tell it here, man. You know, he probably one of those guys that thought about it but didn't know until it hit him. You know, he probably thought about it, and just didn't know until he hit it. And then I promise you, when it hit him, he probably wanted to call his guys, man. But you know, Looney, you know, let me tell you something, Jess. It ain't too late for Looney. It ain't too many good offensive linemen out there. It ain't too late for Looney.
Were you guys surprised by Jeff Heath leaving? I think that one caught me off guard a little bit.
No, because my question has been, and y'all guys have heard me say this towards the end of the season, is it truly the players Now, some guys are who they are, and we know who they are. Is it truly the guys, or how much is the technique or lack of scheming fits into this? Jesse have said a lot of times on our show that, man, the coaching need to be better. And let's just see how some of these guys fare. There's a lot of guys that have left here and went into other schemes and have been very, very successful. Let's just see if he's one of these guys. Or was he just that guy that I always thought was a very good third safety?
Is somebody typing? Is somebody typing emails? What are you doing?
I see why his phone blowing up. He got like 8 devices going. Oh, okay.
We can hear you, but I don't think the public can hear you. So we'll just keep going. With the departure of Jeff Heath, Jesse, what kind of player can we expect out of Ha? I know he's been in the league a little while. He was a pretty impactful player early in his career. I can't say I watched him a whole lot the last couple of years, but what do you think we're getting with that signing?
I think you get a little bit of a mixed bag. With Ha, you get a guy who can be a playmaker, but also, he can be a guy who can make business decisions when it comes to make tackles, and he's a guy who sometimes can gamble. Now, the thing about a gambler, I'm okay with the gambler. It's when you gamble, right? I don't need you gambling when the game's on the line. There's a difference between being a gambler and being a smart gambler. I look at guys like Asante Samuels, right? When he was playing in his prime, he was a smart gambler. He knew when it was time to take his shots and to pick and choose when it was time to go and gamble. I don't like Janoris Jenkins type gamblers. I don't like that type of a gambler or a guy like that where it costs you big. So for him, he's going to give you the athleticism. He's going to give you the ability to make plays in the back end. But you have to take the bad with the good with him. He's going to be a gambler. He's going to be a guy that may not always come up and be a surefire tackler. He may not be a guy who's always going to be in the right place. So that's what history says about him. Now, he may come here and things may change when he gets with Mike Nolan and he may get more under control, whatever. But with him, you're going to have to take the good with the bad. He's going to make some plays, but there's going to be some point in time in the game when you're going to be scratching your head like, what are you doing? So I think if we can get more of the good than the bad then I'm okay with that.
I agree with Jesse, man. But we've been screaming for playmakers, man. But can we get this dude under control? And make sure he's being in the right place and lining up well. He had a lot of interceptions there early in his career with Green Bay. Not so much the last few years. And he had a nice year, I think, with Chicago last year. But I'm with you, Jesse. Everything that I've read, I saw him a lot at Bama, and he played well at Bama because the head coach didn't play. Well, Coach McCarthy and his guys, Coach Nolan and his guys opened the door like, hey, man, we understand you like to gamble. We know you. But, hey, play the defense first.
Right.
Is he an upgrade from Jeff Heath, or are we getting kind of the same guy just in a different format?
No, I think he's an upgrade. I definitely do think he's an upgrade from Jeff Heath. You're going to see more playmaking ability from the back end. You're going to see a guy who's able to cover a little bit better than Jeff Heath in the back end. Jeff Heath was a steady Eddie, right? He wasn't going to kill you, but he wasn't going to really help you a lot of times. And sometimes he was out of position himself as well. I think this is definitely an upgrade from Jeff Heath. It's all about him making the right decision at the right time on when he's going to go gamble, when he's not going to go gamble. But if we can get him to play somewhat according to the game plan and not have him do his own thing, you're going to get a really good player who's going to give you 3 to 4 to 5 interceptions in the season, and that to me will be a major upgrade than what we've had the last couple of years at safety.
That'll help. If he does what Jesse's talking about, that'll help us win 2 games. That'll give our offense the ball back.
I think I'm back up, fellas, and I got to ask, 2 games?
So, yeah, that'll win us 2 games. I'm serious because, and Jesse, you jump in on interceptions are contagious. Once one guy started doing it, other guys will start doing it. It just seemed like ain't no one guy gonna be able to do it. It's gonna take several guys. What I'm saying, if he can get 5, let's say if Xavier Wood can hold on to the ball, he had 4 or 5 and dropped. I'm with Jesse. It's like when you make these picks, a lot of times these picks to help you turn around games. And at the same time, when you drop these picks, they help you lose games. So it ain't gonna be just him. I'm like, when you get a playmaker in there, a guy that actually goes and get the ball, a lot of times it gets contagious. And I'm banking. And I'm not saying that the coaches that left here are not smart, but they played a simple system. And now they got a system that may be a little bit more difficult for quarterbacks to read, to give these dudes opportunity. I just want to see. That's my biggest thing this training camp. I want to go out. I'm going to try to find a way to get out there because I want to see if we run a few different schemes.
And then also, I think for the defensive scheme for the opposing offense, it makes the quarterback hesitate just a little bit. I just can't point the guy out and say I'm going after Jeff Heath, right? I got to say, wait a second. This is he was, a guy who was a highly touted guy coming out of Alabama, and he played well in this league. So if I can get the quarterback to flinch a half a second, if I can get him to think just a little bit more about taking that shot, this allows those guys who are blitzing and allows Tank to get around the edge a little bit more. So all those things come into play when you have a guy back there that they semi-respect. And the more interceptions you begin to have, the more respect you begin to have. But I think coming in, has a level of respect from certain quarterbacks. I'm not saying that he is, he's the next Rod Woodson or he's the next, whatever. But I'm saying that he has a level of respect that quarterbacks have to just for a nanosecond, just for a moment, think, can I fit that ball in there? Should I throw this ball in there? And that sometimes can be the difference maker in a ball game.
So do you guys feel that with his signing and the 2 defensive tackles, that the safety and defensive tackle are now in good hands? Are they in good shape?
I'm not going to go there so quick. I just want to see, you can get me once, but you'll never get me twice. And I don't care if it is a different coaching staff. I want to see how the players react and how in the schemes and stuff. And so, as the season go on and as we get into things, I'm relying on Jesse a lot because Jesse knows coverages. He knows things. And Jesse, I'm gonna lay on you a lot, bro. What does this mean? What did this look like? Because I could tell what we was in, and I'm not a big coverage guy. You see that single high safety, you see the guy walking down in the box, moving back and forth. You ain't fooling nobody with that. I'm sorry, you're not. And but other teams do a little bit more than that. They corners move around. They don't sit there. Now, experienced quarterback can read it quicker than I can. I'm just an average guy when it comes to that. But Jesse could tell you a lot of times, I've heard him say, this ball going there, this ball going there. And I've listened to the safety that works with us there at the Cowboys Center say the same thing. And I'm like, wow, okay, I can tell you about some runs. And how to, scheme up some runs, and if a safety drop in the box, who the 7th man is. But, this thing can get complicated if you had the right guys that can run the scheme and understand the scheme. And so if you got guys that can understand the scheme and can disguise just a little bit, like Jess said, a nanosecond, sometimes that's all it needs for that DN to get to that quarterback or to make that quarterback hurry. And then Clinton, Dix, Xavier, Antoine, or Brown can jump that rock and make a play.
You brought up Anthony Brown. Were you guys surprised that they re-signed him? That kind of
no.
That kind of caught me off a little bit.
No.
Why?
No.
Why
and the reason I'm saying it. The reason that I'm saying no, he got hurt. The way he started the year, he started out like, whoa, man, ain't no way in the world we can let Brown go. Then all of a sudden he fell off a cliff. Then he got hurt. Then he didn't come back and just dominate and take the job. So no, he signed a 1-year deal, show me, and it'll be something better out there for you the next year. He signed a security deal.
Here's one thing that this defense, Mike Nolan and this defense will be doing a lot that you need. One of the reasons why a guy like Alumba was let go, because you need the speed. You need guys that are going to be up in your face, press coverage, and be able to have the ability to run downfield with receivers. That's why that's why you see a lot of those guys who have speed get brought back, because when you're talking about how they're going to run defense, they're going to have their corners up in your face. There's going to be some press. And so you're going to have to be able to get out there and get on your giddy up and be able to run with receivers. And when you look at the guys they have now, I'm not comfortable with the guys they have right now. If we had to start a game this Sunday, I'm not comfortable with those guys being my starting cornerbacks. But we need better corners. But right now, I think look at the speed part of things. They want guys who can turn and run with the receivers with the way they play defense.
Glad.
Say again. I think so. I think corner will be the priority. If not corner, then maybe another defensive lineman somewhere, maybe rush in. Because now, again, if I got pressure up front and I got guys coming off the edge, then I can be kind of almost a little bit subpar on the outside because I'm creating so much pressure. The pockets are collapsing. They can't do anything, and I'm getting to the quarterback. Now he doesn't have clean lanes to throw in. He doesn't have time, and so where I'm lacking with experience and playmaking ability, I make up for it in that quarterback not having enough time to go out there and really beat us up down the field.
I agree.
So I was going to ask Nate. I'll ask you.
I agree.
Now that you've added, two guys in the middle, you've added a safety that has playmaking potential. Does your focus in the draft shift to corner and an edge rusher, or would you be okay with if one of these, top receivers slides down to 17? Or are you still focusing on defense, Nate, in the draft?
You have to. You have sunk your money. I was telling some guys, and they mouth dropped open. The Cowboys have declared who they are. They have declared we are offensive team. And don't get it mixed up now. Kansas City, they have declared their offensive team. The Ravens have declared their defensive team. Some teams are so dominant, and they let you know not only by how they play, but who they pay. And they are paying our offense. They are not skimping on that, and they're gonna try to piece together a defense. And so the only way they can get some clout on defense is to go out and draft some guys. So I think they got to go out and get the best available defensive player. Not if it's a corner, not if it's a safety. If that guy falls to you perfect and he's a D lineman, you got to get him. If he's a corner, you got to get him. Now I understand they don't love safeties and all of this here, and it ain't a value. The best defensive player that falls to you that can be on that field and make an impact, you have to get this kid opportunity to play for you.
Well, I think that's what they've done with bringing in those two guys on the inside. You've already sealed up your linebacking core. You added another piece to the secondary in Ha-Ha. I think it lends you more to now picking best available and not having to go in with a specific need, saying, you know what, I need to get this or I need to get that. I can go in and say, oh, if a DN falls to me, I'll take him. Oh, if a linebacker falls to me, okay. If a cornerback falls, if a receiver falls to me, I don't have to go in with a defined need for something. I can go in and say, we've put ourselves in a position where we can go in and whoever is there, we can take them, we can trade back, we can add more picks. It all depends on what's there and what you want. When you're able to kind of hit big in free agency, then you allow yourself to go into the draft and not being strapped for one thing.
Kirby,
I agree with you, Jesse.
Go ahead.
I agree with you, Jesse. But it better be defense, man, because unlike Kansas City, unlike Green Bay before last year, these teams have proven that we'll go to the playoffs with a lack of defense. We'll go in and we'll get into the second round. We have not proven by having a lack of defense that we can go for.
Defense just gives you another opportunity to get back on offense.
No. I'm not gonna argue that with you, Jess. I'm with you. I'm not gonna argue that. But are we gonna be good enough to where we control that ball 32 minutes with touchdowns and not field goals? And see, I'm with you. You declare who you are and you win. And the reason I'm open to it is because of Coach McCarthy and his offensive mind. So I'm with you. So, but in this draft, you're gonna have to go get some horses on defense. That's all I'm saying. I'm through arguing about offense, defense. If you declare yourself like the Cowboys have, that's who you got to roll with. But you got to use all the tools that have been handed to you.
Kurt, are you opposed to if one of these wide receivers, one of these top wide receivers falls to you at 13, grabbing in there, or would you trade back because somebody's going to want one of these receivers, trade back and try to save picks and go raw defense?
Sooner or later, fellas, you gonna have to have a defensive player or two. I'm honest. Even Kansas City, they went to the scrap heap and got a collection of guys, and I hate to call another player scrap heap because that's how folks looked at me. But Breland in the secondary, he flourished last year for them. A couple other guys flourished for them. We didn't think much of Wilson, but he flourished for them. We didn't give Hitchens we didn't even throw off at him. He flourished for them. I'm saying in the right system, you still have to go get players that can do your scheme and perform. And Chris Jones is the glue there. Him and Tyrone Mathis on the back end, which is a safety, and then you got Chris Jones up front, who's a horse. I mean, you're gonna have one or two players. I don't care.
Nate, but I think the biggest thing, and I fall victim to this because I even forget sometimes that I still think we're under the Jason Garrett era, and I'm like, oh snap, he's not here anymore. We're under a new regime now. And I think when you talk about the Chiefs and you talk about other teams like that, well, what they've done is they've gone and get players and then molded their defense to fit that player's strength. That's the part where we've lacked here in Dallas over the last 10 years. We would go get players that they would just run a defense and try to fit players into that defense. And that was always the complicated thing is how can I get these guys to fit into this? How can I put these squares into this circle? And it was just kind of force them in there, and it wasn't working. Instead of them saying, well, how can I fit my puzzle to fit this piece? And so now you start trying to go and get pieces and say, all right, if he's not a man-to-man corner, then I'm not going to put him in a man-to-man situation. I'm going to put him in a zone situation. That's where he thrives at. And this is guy not an outside corner. I'm not going to play him at an outside corner. Now, sometimes you have, you're scrambling at times in the season when you have to go play a guy out of position sometimes. But for the most part, those teams that you're talking about, the Brelands and the Chris Jones and the Tyrone, those guys, that defense was it was molded and fit to the players that they had. It wasn't the other way around. And when you go about it that way, now you're able to have more success from those guys because they're playing a part of the puzzle. They're not, you know what I'm saying? That they're not playing out of position or out of place. They're just doing what they're capable of doing, a la how you talked about how Jimmy Johnson did it back in the day. He would say, listen, man, that's how Bill Belichick does it. They're saying, I'm not going to have this guy playing, this position when he can't.
Yeah, and see, and that's what I was saying earlier about is they're gonna scheme it up. It's all about the scheme and going out and getting players. Now, like Dontario Poe is a big athletic guy, greasy guy, hoggy guy, and I love that. But Gerald McCoy is a different type of athlete. They know how to play these guys. They have spent their time putting pieces together, I hope, like this, in the back end, scheming like this. So I'm with you guys 100%, and it's going to come. That's why I'm saying we have to get to know this coaching staff. That's why we're going to have to rely on each other. Like I said, Jets, I'm going to be relying on you a lot, saying, okay, what does it look like back there? Does it? And I know during training camp they're going to try to hide stuff, but when you knew, you can't hide much. You may not go in the preseason showing it, but you're going to have to show it in training camp. what we talking about is over time, Kurt. Over time, now some guys ain't gonna always be perfectly. That mean guys ain't. Yeah, but the thing
I think
is,
that's what you see them doing right now. I think you see the Cowboys already. They're letting guys go and they're bringing other guys in because they know what they want this final picture to look like. Mike Nolan and McCarthy have sat down and said, "Here's what I need. I'm playing this style. I'm looking for this type of player to fit." You know what I'm saying? Like, so they know what it is that they want to have in this system, and then they're going to get those guys, and they're saying, "Okay, he's really good at this. He's really good at that." And then, but this is why they pay these guys the big bucks, because once you bring all these players in, now you have to begin to shape and mold this thing so where it fits and is cohesive and it gels the right way. So.
Preach, Jesse.
How do they get it done? That's why they pay those guys the big bucks to get it done, to figure this thing out, to have a vision of what you want, and now going to get the little things. And they say, "Hey, Will McClay, I need this. Hey, Steven, I need this guy to get signed. I know what do we got? How much money we have? How much we require the cap? Okay, we can't get him. I need someone similar to him. Okay, I got all the guys that I need now. What's in the draft that we're relatively close to go get? Now they go and get those pieces and say, okay." This is here's what I want people to understand. I know that we're dying and we're waiting for a championship to happen. That type of stuff probably won't happen in year one. You need, especially now when we're dealing with this corona situation and guys can't even be together. Like, they can't even be in the building with one another. Coaches can't be around players. Players can't be around coaches. Guys can't be together. So this may take a little bit more time for it to develop. I'm not saying 10 years. I'm just saying, if this thing doesn't come out the gate looking the way you want it to look, give it a little time. It's going to take a little time for all this to come together, especially with us not having, or potentially not having, the ability to get together like we normally would with OTAs and mini camps and so on and so forth.
Now understand this right here. The Chris Covingtons and the Antoine Woods who are free, have they been signed yet? See, you got to look at the guys that, Antoine Woods, has he been signed? So look at
Antoine Woods he's still here. He's still here.
He's still on the contract. You look at guys and you say to yourself, they've been tendered offers, because these coaches are looking at film. And like Jesse said, they know the pieces they want, man. And guys are, I passed by a few guys before we had the shutdown over there at the Star in the Ford Center, and guys had that bewildered look, Jess, in their eyes, like, yo, man, the new coaching staff, you got to prove yourself now.
That's real.
The inconsistency stops. So, like Jess said, at the beginning of the year, if this corona thing eases up and people get to do what they need to do, a lot of guys, you don't be shocked when like, oh, wow, they like that guy. Well, Jason didn't like that guy. And I'm talking about Coach Garrett. They didn't like that guy, but they like this guy. They have a role for this guy. Hey, one man's treasure could be another man's trash, and vice versa. Fellas, I got to get ready to prepare to get out of here. I got to do something a little bit later. I appreciate you guys coming on 30 minutes earlier so I can be a part of this. And y'all say we'll be back Monday at 11. Is that cool? Or we'll know more as time go on, Shannon?
Yeah, I think we're going to try to get back to our normal scheduled time on Mondays. Mondays at 11 o'clock. It'll be on the website. Check the schedule on the website. I think something's going on with Kurt's audio. Nate, you got to get out of here. So, Jesse, I don't want to be stuck with just me and you for the next 10 minutes, so we're going to bail too.
Okay, that's cool.
Hey, but look at here, man. Hey, I'm trying to fight. Hey, y'all, I got to go. I'm trying to fight my wife off, man. Y'all be good now, all right? Take it easy.
All right, we'll see you, Nate. Kurt, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Matt, thanks for getting this up and working for us.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, we'll be back
all right,
next
bye-bye,
week. Check
fellas.
the website to find out when we'll be there. Should be Mondays at 11. If not, the time will be there. Jesse, good hanging out with you. Can't wait to see your sexy face again, man, in person.
Always, my brother. Love you.
All right,
Y'all be good, man. God bless, man.
See you guys next week. Later.
All right, bye-bye.